Hello, everyone, and welcome to another positive perspective moment. I'm so glad you decided to spend this few moments with me today. Whether you're listening while driving, relaxing at home, taking a quiet moment to yourself, or simply needing a little encouragement for your day, I truly believe you're here for a reason. Over the past several conversations together, we've been talking about purpose, destiny, and prayer, understanding that none of us are here by accident, that God is intentional, and there is meaning connected to every season of our lives. And today, I want us to slow down just a little bit and spend some time talking about something that walks hand in hand with purpose and destiny, and that is prayer. Because if purpose tells us why we're here, then prayer helps us understand how to walk through where we are. Maybe you're in a season right now where life feels uncertain. Maybe you're asking questions, waiting on answers, or trying to understand what God is doing next. If that sounds like you, I want you to stay with me for a few moments today because I believe this conversation is going to encourage your heart. So grab your coffee, settle in for a moment, and let's talk together about walking in purpose, moving in destiny, and learning how prayer gives us direction for the journey. Again, you and I are not here by accident. Psalms 139:14 says, I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and my soul knows that also well. We want us to just take a moment and talk about something equally important, purpose and prayer. Because purpose and prayer really do go hand in hand. Purpose makes us understand why we're here, but prayer helps us understand how to walk through where we are. Sometimes we think of prayer as only talking to God, telling Him what we need, what we're worried about, or what we hope would happen. And yes, you are right. Prayer is all of that and much more. Prayer is also something so much deeper. Prayer is an open line of communication with God. It is in prayer that we receive comfort, wisdom, instruction, and sometimes even redirection. Have you ever been in a season where you really didn't know what to do? What was going to happen next? You love God, yes. You trust Him, but you just weren't sure what steps to take. That's where prayer becomes so important. It reminds us of the children of Israel. God had already given them a promise. He had already told them where they were headed. There was a purpose attached to their journey. But even through that, they still needed direction. The Bible tells us that God led them by a pillar of cloud during the day and a pillar of fire at night. And I love this because they didn't just move because they felt like moving. They moved when God moved. When the cloud moved, they moved. When the fire moved, they moved. When the cloud stopped, they stopped. And when the fire stopped, they stood still. Isn't that something? When you really think about it, that is really something. Because I think sometimes we want the destination without the direction. We want the promise, but we don't always slow down enough to seek God for the next step. You know, something I have learned about walking with God is this: life is full of important moments. Prayer teaches us how to move with God. When Mordecai told Esther about the danger facing her people, that was an important moment. Suddenly, purpose became personal. Have you ever had one of those moments where life suddenly asks more of you than you expected? Moments where faith stops being comfortable. Prayer teaches us when to walk, when to wait, and when to trust. And even, yes, when to be still. Before Esther moved, she prayed. Prayer should slow us down long enough to receive courage and direction. She didn't rush into the king's presence emotionally. She paused, she prayed, she sought God. Maybe someone listening to me is wondering why things feel delayed. But what if it's not a delay at all? What if it's God, Him preparing you for the next step in your purpose? Sometimes God pauses us because He's guiding us. Purpose tell you why you're here. I love this. Prayer gives you strength to stay here. Think about that. Sometimes the assignment God gives us stretches us beyond human capability. Sometimes it feels so uncomfortable. Sometimes we even wonder, Lord, am I really supposed to be here? Is this where you want me to be? But when purpose explains the season and prayer strengthens the spirit, we begin to understand that God never places us somewhere without also giving us the grace to remain there. His grace is sufficient for thee. Esther understood this. She had purpose. She was in the palace for a reason. When you know that your assignment is ordained from God, prayer isn't optional, it's necessary. Esther probably never imagined that the place she was in was connected to the purpose, was unfolding for her future and her people. We all journey through our difficult seasons, our unexpectations, our responsibilities, ministry, and our waiting season. The same God who brought you to this point in life because of his plan and purpose will sustain you through your prayers because purpose may position you. Purpose may position you, but prayer will preserve you. Think about that. Esther became a type of Jesus in ministry. Esther stood in the gap for her people, but God became the ultimate one who stood in the gap for us. If God trusts you with this season, He will strengthen you for this season. I want to encourage you today. Don't dismiss the season you're in. It may be uncomfortable, unexpected, or even stretching you in a way you never imagined. But just perhaps God has you there for such a time as this. Purpose explains the season, prayer sustains the soul. And finally, purpose tell you why you're here. Prayer gives you strength to stay here. Just because your cloud has not moved yet does not mean your journey has stopped or ended. Sometimes God keeps us in places because direction matters just as much as destination. Purpose is why God created you. Destiny is the unfolding of that purpose. I want to encourage you today. Don't dismiss the season you're in. It may be uncomfortable, unexpected, or even stretching you in ways you never imagined. But perhaps, just perhaps, God has you there for such a time as this. As always, make each day a positive one. See you next time, and thank you for joining me. God bless you.